It's big enough to give you everything you want. It is big enough to take away everything you have.
Welcome to the Spearhead Transmission.
With your hosts, Nick Brim, and Michael Ray.
This is Spearhead Transmission.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Spearhead Transmission. It's March 14th, 2018. It's time to break those chains and water that tree.
Water that tree.
So we're back 2 weeks in a row. It's
And it's hot as hell in here.
solid podcast again. So I was trying to put together a show set list.
Mm-hmm.
I always think about this. I was, for a while there, especially right after Trump was elected in the office, there was a mass infiltration in America of white nationalists and Nazis, and there's this big push to get rid of Confederate statues and anything like associated with the Confederate War, slavery, changing school names, changing street names, and then you don't hear shit about that anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard anything about any kind of statue getting torn down in the middle of the night, but I mean, the mainstream media would have you believe that there was
the Nazis just running wild.
Nazis were like a huge issue,
all over the place.
Yeah, and now you don't hear shit. I don't see anything. I did get. I was looking at I don't know how I got this, but a list from the Tulsa Public Schools of all the school names that are going to possibly change, and so it gave like a brief history of the name behind it, and then like the reason it'll possibly change. Like one of them was I think it was Thomas Edison High or something. So it said Thomas Edison invented the telephone, right?
Okay.
Or no, was he even
No,
phone?
he didn't invent that was Alexander Graham Bell.
Yeah, what Thomas Edison?
A bunch of stuff. He stole a bunch of stuff too.
Maybe
But
it was Bell.
he was a good businessman.
Maybe it was Bell. Alexander Graham Bell. I don't know what school it was, but anyway, they're talking about how he invented the telephone, and they're like, he did all this other stuff, and it's like, and so it'd give like the pros, and then say cons, and it said like Alexander Graham Bell owned slaves, was like forced work stuff, all this other crap. So it's like the dude invents the telephone, but since during the time
it was acceptable.
Yeah,
to
it was
own
acceptable to own slaves. Now can't name a school after him. So like who are you going to name it after now? Like Bam Margera, Bam Margera High,
Morton Downey Jr.
Yeah,
Because you have three. You have to have three.
So yeah,
names.
so say they name the school like
Robert Downey Jr.
Kathy Taylor High for the old mayor of Tulsa, right?
Okay.
And then 50 years from now, it's like
Kathy
Taylor
used to
mowed
feed
her
midgets.
yard with a gas lawnmower.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's a better point.
That is unacceptable at this point, and because by that time,
Kathy Taylor was a straight
here's the
heterosexual woman.
Here's what may happen. Say, Kathy Taylor was known to use a Roomba, and since robots are gonna own the future, that'll be seen as slave ownership, and they won't
allow
school.
any of their kids, their robot kids, to go to that school.
Like Michael Rain became well known for his studies in economics and streetlights, but it's known that he owned a Alexa, so we'll have to strike his name from the school list. They'll name it after me. Like Nick Brim hated robots.
Yeah.
Didn't own shit. name your school after me, motherfuckers. Future robot world. But I mean, really, so there's I know there's towns. Sapulpa's named after like a Confederate something, right? You're gonna name
Sapulpa?
Yeah.
I figured that was just an Indian name.
Yeah, you did. I did too. But
you know how whenever you say any of those names,
yeah,
around in Oklahoma, it's like it's just a
Indian name.
It's got to be OCO.
What's the? Trying to find it, but anyway, what are you gonna do? Change the name of the town? I
guess somebody's gonna be hurting.
The Nazis are taking over. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read this at the same time.
They're all over. Where they wasn't that what the case was going to be? That they were going to be running wild?
Yeah, because Donald Trump allowed them to like
Be
gain
Nazis.
power, right?
Yeah,
There was the Charlottesville riot where that girl
Yeah.
got killed, and like,
That's right.
and all these people were getting outed on Twitter for attending that rally. Like, hey, do you know
right.
you got a racist working there? And then now it's just like, lights out.
That's right.
Hey, now it's Me Too. You know, standing up to sexual harassment and gun stuff. You know, and it's just thrown to the forget about it.
So we'll come back to race sometime soon, right?
Forget about it. To race, yeah, it's all race. Because if you look at all the stuff today for the gun violence, the people that walked out, they did walk out of school for 17 minutes in remembrance of the shooting. I saw all this stuff. I got a story to read about it, but it's like said that somehow that's bringing bringing to light brown and black lives, protecting them from gun violence. Like, I thought it was just gun violence at schools. Like, how is it now just focusing on a certain race of people?
Soon it's going to be, we've got to only protect the black, gay,
Woman.
Jew, transgender child.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. And
That's the only.
I don't. I mean, I read too today in Tulsa there was a walkout for the gun violence thing, and they're going to walk out because they're against gun violence. And the two motherfuckers got in a fist fight, and then one of them went to the hospital. Like, I'm against gun violence.
I'm
Hardcore.
not. Oh, you're not?
Yeah, you're not. I'll show you my fists. Don't use guns though. That's violence. God, man, this shit like this. The world's going to hell. That's all. That's all it is.
Is that how it works? You brought up a great point just a second ago though, because you said like it made me think, and I didn't even think about this until you started talking about how Edison or Alexander Graham Bell owned slaves, right? And think about yourself. Think about if you were to go back in time, right? So you go back in time. You know what it's like in the future, right?
Yeah.
You go back in time and you're in this time period like, damn, these motherfuckers are what are they just dumb as hell? What's going on? Like why do they think that it's cool? Like, do you know what I mean by that? What I'm trying to say is like, this guy was so fucking smart that he could figure out how to send whatever it is, sound through a wire to somebody else, but yet he's like, man, it's all good. You know what I mean? Like, it was acceptable to own slaves, so it was like, do you get where I'm going? What are you doing?
I'm trying to listen.
Away from my
I'm trying to
point.
see about the Sepulpa thing. No, I get you.
So like, and if you were to go back further in time, you're like, that's like things were acceptable. Certain things were acceptable that today, by today's standard, you'd be like, holy shit, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, my wife didn't make potato soup tonight. That just
beat the hell out of
shit
her.
out of her, right? And I could get a new one. But other things back then, if they were to come forward in time, they'd be like, holy shit, this can't be acceptable. I can't believe you're drinking wine on a Sunday or whatever it is, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It perplexes me because at a certain time, I would say that man.
Shit, it was acceptable to burn people at the stake if you thought they were witches.
Yeah, that's a great point. So I would say over time, it can be made that we as humans are not done learning, right? Like, we're not done learning what's better, but are we
holding someone in the past accountable for shit that they did in the past to future standards is ridiculous.
Exactly. That's where I was going with this. Is that
you know what I mean? Like,
so
what are you going to hold
back
back the Dark Ages? Like, what's that? Joan of Arc? Like, you're not a great woman warrior because you believed that if your hand was possessed, you cut your whole arm off. Like, it's ridiculous, right? But you accept it because it's a long time ago.
Exactly. That's where I was going with this. Is that
she didn't cut her arm off? By the way, I made that up, but
because God told her to cut her arm off and her legs off. and poke her eyes out, and she actually just, I don't know. You made that up. No, what I was going with is that, yes, we can look back at it and say that that's absolutely ridiculous. Hopefully, in the future, we can look back and still not look back and be like, God, heterosexual, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hopefully it's not hopefully the narrative, like our learning isn't like this.
Well, I think people with
fake learning. You know what I mean?
People
Like
with
this,
common sense can look back and think that, like, look, this dude invented the fucking phone.
uh-huh.
Yeah, he has some bad points, but I mean, we're not the school isn't named after him because he had slaves. It's named after him because he invented the goddamn phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
there's nothing to do with like,
So-
let's honor this guy
so
because
then-
he had slaves. Like, you could pick any swinging dick from the that time frame and say,
The next question would be to that person that's like, we need to change the name of this. How'd you talk to your kids on the phone? What the fuck? Did you text anybody? What are you doing? That wasn't possible without that guy, and you're wanting to change the name because he was a fucking idiot in another area of his life, right? Like, what if you found out that he fucked dogs on the side? Be like, well, I mean, you're gonna change the name of the school? Is that weirder? Is that weirder?
this is, man, the thing is it doesn't make sense to me at all.
You'd be like, well, he's a weird motherfucker. But that's way back then. We're past that.
I mean, it'd be different if it was like Adolf Hitler High School or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like, what is that guy known for? Like,
Killing Jews.
yeah, or like
Hating Jews.
General Mao. Hi.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, the only thing I know about him. Oh no, that's Cao. It was his chicken. General Cao's chicken. General Mao. Didn't that guy kill a bunch of
Chairman
his?
Mao.
Didn't that guy kill a bunch of his own people? So when
Yeah.
people like, hey, Alexander Graham Bell is like, yeah, that motherfucker had slaves. They don't think that. They're like, that's the guy that invented the phone. Thomas Edison
Invented Sepulpa.
the light bulb, phonograph, motion picture camera.
And which of the currents did he, AC or DC?
I don't know. He looks like he's got bad breath, though. He was a prolific inventor.
He invented the automatic hammer too. For all
Did
you
he?
Simpsons. No.
Electric light and power utilities, sound recording. So then he stole from Tesla, right?
Well, I mean, we don't know. Like, yes.
So
I think,
Sepulpa,
what he did is he said, look, okay, Tesla, here, I'll give you $50,000 for that AC/DC stuff.
riff.
Yeah.
Is that Hell's
Highway
Bells?
to Hell.
Razor's Edge. So Sepulpa.
Go ahead.
Sepulpa, a young Cherokee tribesman who we now call Sepulpa, only one name, made the move to Indian Territory around 1840 and settled about a mile southeast of the present-day city of Sepulpa. Here he established a trading post. During the Civil War, the man Sepulpa served in the Confederate Army. Following his discharge from the Army, he returned to this area and later began ranching. His face in this picture looks like my face when I'm drunk and about to throw up.
Really?
Yeah, it's like he's got frog lips, kind of like melted face.
What's his
So
name?
what do you... I'm on
I'm kidding.
SepulpaHistoricalSociety.com.
Pulpa Indian Warrior.
Civil War is all I put, but I don't know, man. It's just fucking ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Anyway.
Wait,
Did
he
you
fought
hear-
for the Confederate Army?
Yeah, so fucking rename the city. That's
weird.
so that's like you got worlds like colliding right there because he's a Native American,
Uh-huh.
but he's a Confederate soldier.
Oh, he does like
Oh fuck, man! I don't know. It's like that red button meme. Confederate
Yeah.
soldier, Native American. Like, whew. The other one. Who's the other one?
that's not him, is it?
There's another one that
What happened?
I can't remember what I was gonna say. This one blank.
Is this isn't him, is it?
What the hell is that?
I don't know. That's gonna be me in 20 years. I've already got that 80
That body style,
this
the
body
big
style.
torso.
Yeah.
I got a big torso.
Why do I have this big torso?
You don't look like that.
All right.
Did you hear about those bombs in Austin in the mail? Like three package bombs.
No. Who sent them?
I don't know yet. I was trying to read up on it, and they're like, we think they're related. Like, okay, 3 people got
That's me.
got bombs mailed to them in the Austin area, and you think they may be related. I'd go ahead and bet that they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just go out on a whim. Right?
I mean, you could make
Both of us are not listening to what the other person's saying and just searching the internet when the other person's talking.
Yes, 3 bombs in Austin are likely related.
That's crazy, though, right?
Yes.
Actually,
mail bombs?
Yeah. So it's like, did the Unabomber back in the day, did he mail bombs or what did he do?
Well, put them in the mailbox, I thought. Did he mail them?
I don't know. He just had that skeezer mustache and and hoodie. He started the hoodie trend.
Yeah.
Hands up, don't shoot. But I don't know. That's a weird deal. Like it reminded me with the anthrax scare back after 9/11. You know, like
yeah.
But it's just staying to Austin, and there's not that much news coverage of it. You figure people would be flipping out.
When you think about the Unabomber, do you think about Dr. Jack Kevorkian too?
Is that the guy with the huge beard?
He was the guy that assisted was assisted suicide guy.
All I think
For
of
some
is
reason,
that pen and ink sketch of the guy with the glasses, the mustache, and the hoodie.
Yeah, that's the Unabomber. But so you don't think of Kevorkian either? I don't know if any of our listeners. The reason I do, I think what I do is I compartmentalize these time periods of like things like events, and I would venture to guess, I don't know why, but I would think that Kevorkian was popular in the news at the same time the Unabomber was.
Oh yeah,
and so
I can see that.
In my head, that's how I relate.
What
those.
happened to Dr. Kevorkian?
He
killed himself.
Yeah, he's dead.
It's like Pizza the Hut, Jabba the Hutt. No, Pizza the Hut.
Fruit. Let's see.
Ate himself to death.
I don't know.
He's probably still alive. It's
Yeah.
part of the Mandela experiment.
This is Kevorkian.
I get Dr. Kevorkian and that guy from Hellbop mixed up. The white-haired dude, the crazy man.
He died June 3rd, 2011.
You know who I'm talking about? Remember that Hellbop comment? The guy with the white hair, bad haircut.
I'm Googling.
He's always got big white eyes.
No, I don't remember. But
dude, someone would have to be selling a really mean fucking like program for me to drink arsenic or whatever in a room with a bunch of other people in my pajamas,
the guy
with
who
my
wore
white
the
shoes on.
The guy who wore they would have bought new Nikes.
Yeah.
That guy. You know what though? The Kevorkian,
Are
the
we on
Hale-Bop
YouTube?
guy. Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It says we got major echo. I'm not worried.
Oh. The YouTube channel's just a fucking waste of time. Can't get views on it for shit.
Yeah. So the Hale-Bop guy, there was a commercial for Hale-Bop guy, wasn't there? He has white hair.
Yeah, and he's all wide-eyed.
Yeah, but he doesn't look like Kevorkian. But I bet that Hale-Bop and Kevorkian were popular in the news at the same time.
I mean, how do you buy that, right? Like, how do you like, hey man, you got to kill yourself. We're gonna catch a ride on this comment. Like, what do you mean? Well, we're gonna kill ourselves and then catch a ride on a comment. Like, I need a little more. Just a little more structure.
Is this like, multi-level marketing? What are we doing here? Like, if I get other people to sign up, do I get a?
We're gonna put these shoes on. We're gonna drink this drink, and we're gonna go. Like,
they were brand new Nikes, right?
Yeah, it looks silly.
What's the name of that cult? Heaven's Gate.
Yeah, here he is, right here.
Yeah. What? Just tell me his name. It was something like major something.
Major asshole, sir. It doesn't say. Just type in Hale-Bop Comet Cult. The guy
Marshall
Mathers.
Marshall Mathers. Heaven's Gate guy.
Oh, they aren't white shoes. They're black Nikes.
No. In my head,
they're white, yeah they're black.
That's him right there. I guess I could see how you would see that Kevorkian. They are black. How many people signed up for that?
I too many. One too many.
I hope maybe he has some YouTube videos that we can watch. Maybe.
I tell you I'm not going to say that on here. Never mind.
Okay.
So, speaking of people dying, Stephen Hawking stepped into the great unknown last night.
He's
just
coming
crazy,
back.
right? So Stephen Hawking was a big time opponent of like the afterlife, said that was nothing else after this.
But he was early, but wasn't he later on? He wasn't. As he started to get closer to being old, he started to be like,
was he? I thought he was to the end.
Maybe he was to the end.
But
I don't understand how a physicist, somebody that's their way of thinking, doesn't think that there's anything beyond gases.
You ever wonder if that was really him talking or just like one of his friends?
Yeah,
like guy can't talk. I'm in charge of the words here.
Yeah, this guy. Exactly. Didn't he leave his old lady because his old lady wouldn't let him watch porn?
No shit.
I thought that's what it was. Like she wouldn't give him nudie mags and stuff, and so he left her.
What's he do with them? You can't move from the neck down,
Dude,
right?
This guy has thought about black holes in his mind.
So
he's gone there. He talked about spaghettification in a black hole.
So I read an article today on black holes that says, it's from foxnews.com. It says, passing through a black hole could open up a whole new future, but it would erase your past. So I'm going to read this. So, because I wanted to kind of get away from reading articles on here, but this is a good one. So this says, it's a controversial idea, but an enticing one. A new study has once again tackled the implications of a black hole's event horizon, the point beyond which not even light can escape its gravitational pull. This time, mathematicians have been crunching the numbers to determine if an object can cross the point of no return and travel beyond. It's generally thought that the event horizon is an impenetrable line in space and time. Whatever goes over the edge is lost forever. Many astrophysicists say that what's inside is impossible to study. The laws of physics break down to a point where they're simply incomprehensible. But one international team of researchers has been busy poking holes in this assumption. Their research, published in the Journal of Physical Review Letters, looks at the particular type of black hole. It must be calm, it must be supermassive, it must be electrically charged, it must sit in an expanding and accelerating universe like our own. They argue these conditions open up a path enabling someone to pass through what lies beyond without being spaghettified down to elemental components. There's a problem, though. Your past would evaporate, and an infinite number of futures would open up for you all at once. This idea is challenging, not least of all because it contradicts Albert Einstein's famous theory of general relativity. It's a theory that has been demonstrated repeatedly during the past century. Even the most recent discovery of gravitational waves, since we talked about it on the podcast, conforms to its expectations. General relativity essentially means that the laws of physics apply to everyone and everything. Where you've been determines where you're going, and vice versa. It allows you to calculate something's past and enables you to predict its future. But black holes, the researchers argue, are complicated. Space and time get bent. Einstein's theories break down. But there's something beyond a black hole's event horizon. Researchers say it's another horizon. It's called the Conchi horizon. Conchi.
Okay.
It's a theoretical point where everything under its influence is slowed infinitely. Everything the black hole ever encounters hits this horizon at the same time. Whatever is there will continue to fall towards the black hole's central singularity, where everything is compressed to an infinitely small state for all eternity. The past no longer determines the future, therefore no Einstein allowed. Most physicists believe that everything gets annihilated at this point. But here's where the new study really kicks in. It says an enormous electrically charged black hole would allow things to pass through this Conchi horizon and dodge the singularity at its heart. Because our universe has experienced accelerated expansion, this counteracts and cancels out some of the black hole's apparently impenetrable properties. There are some exact solutions of Einstein's equations that are perfectly smooth with no kinks, no tidal forces going to infinity, where everything is perfectly well behaved up to this horizon and beyond. After that, all bets are off. So what's on the other side? It says perfect isolation, a fresh start. Space and time as we know it is unreachable. Your past has been erased. Your future is eternal. This is what the mathematicians and physicists believe is the outcome of crossing a black hole's Chauncey horizon.
Mm-hmm.
One can avoid the central singularity altogether and live forever in a universe unknown.
Okay, it's great. Here's the thing: they say that these are studies, right? No, these are just people fucking thinking. Here's the great thing about it, though, is that it is people thinking about this stuff. What's beautiful is that we don't know shit. To be honest with you, we really don't know shit about it. This is another, and I'm not derailing. This is just
they haven't
ancillary.
haven't even seen a black hole. They
speculate
Yeah.
that that is one. But here's what's great is that, listen to this. So like, say you and I were identical twins, right? And we so being identical twins, our DNA, right? We have identical DNA. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you go to outer space, then
There
your
you
DNA
go.
changes.
So, but here's the great thing about it is that we don't even fucking quite understand that at this point. When I get into a place where there's no gravity, my DNA starts to fucking, because that's really what it is. That really what it is, or what is it? Is DNA just a serial number for a product that's produced on a certain place, and then look, it's starting to move, so it's actually it's actually getting further away from where the place where it's produced. We need to change the number of this item, or what's happening. We don't know, so we don't really have an idea of what happens out there. And just think about it like this: imagine an infinite stack of books this way, and an infinite stack of books this way, and an infinite stack of books this way, and this way, and this way, and this way, and you just drill a hole through it, and there's just holes going different ways through there to take you to different possibilities. But guess what? It's still fucking you. You're going over there, you're going over there, you're going over here. But the deal is that you're not in my head, you're not in this. You know how we have location and time, right? Like we have location and time, and it demarcates where we are in our life, right? In our understanding of our life. But if you get into a black hole, right, or wherever you go, whatever it is, you're moving. That point, that locator, that time locator, doesn't exist, right? It doesn't exist anymore. Does that make? It's another dimension. Because time is simply what? We can't roll it back, right? We're not capable of doing that. So in my head, I guess that what happened? What are you doing?
I'm thinking while you're
thinking?
Yeah. Keep going.
What I'm trying to say is that if you move through something like that, what if there are multiple entryways into these different dimensions, right?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
What if there's more? Yeah, but that's like string theory, isn't it?
That's what it is. That's what they're talking about. They're just saying that we don't know what's on the other side of a black hole, and that the whole idea was that it's spaghettification, right? The gravitational pull is so strong that the minute that you start to enter it, it's just going to pull it's going to pull you, turn you into spaghetti, right? Like, and you're done. Well, fuck. That's fantastic. That might be your physical body, but we, until we figure out what happens to that, are they trying to say that it'd pull you through there physically?
I don't know. I don't say.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if these physicists don't believe in an afterlife, and they believe that you just, when you die, you go straight into the dirt, then how can they possibly say that, okay, so that's the fountain of youth is going through there?
Shoot me through
a black hole. I'm gonna live forever.
I don't know, man. I just think it's cool. So to me that
we got
the fact is like I think of a black hole,
gravity,
like a black hole. If it's sucking in this way,
firing you out somewhere else.
Well, it can't be sucking in this way, right? Because then you're just looking at a window, right, from the inside of that, like a window of a house, but it's not. It's like a toilet, right?
But that's thinking at it in a 3-dimensional space, right? That means you're thinking in it like, okay, we've got.
So it's warped, but it's warped the space time to where it's bending light waves, right? Because the gravitational pull so high. So it's not. So it's got to be pulling it somewhere. So it's not going out the window.
That's the thing. We don't know where it's pulling.
But it can't be pulling both ways, is what I'm saying.
Or it could be pulling infinite ways. Like, because we don't understand, like, we only look at it at our point of view, like in a 3-dimensional world, right? We can't fully, in my opinion, we can't fully understand.
My world's got 5,000 dimensions.
5,000.
We've got
Over
5,000.
Nobody can escape the quad laser.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff in this world that, human beings act like they, own the fucking world and the universe and everything else. And then, a tsunami comes along and spanks us, or, a hurricane or whatever. Like, you're not in control. This is, your existence is only small on this entire grand scheme of things, and there's tons of shit. Everyone wants to like dog religion, or, anyone that like believes in anything other than, like agnostic or atheist, right? And they're like, man, it's that age-old thing. Like, okay, you choose not to, that's fine, right? But like, how do you know that there's not something?
Exactly.
Well, there's nothing showing me that there is. Yeah, but there's nothing that's showing you that there isn't either.
That's right.
Like,
no matter how many times we play this game, when people say, "Oh, it's a Big Bang,"
yeah.
Well,
says who?
But okay, so it was a Big Bang. But where'd those gases come from to create that Big Bang? Where did those
I was
protons
talking
and
to
those
someone about
electrons?
this the other day, because when I went to,
What did they say? How did they? Where did they go from there?
So when we went to premarital counseling, because they get married with the Catholic Church.
Hey,
Since my wife was Catholic, we had to go through these things, and one of them was premarital counseling. So
did it teach you missionary style?
No. So what was funny is we'd go, I think it was like once a week for a month. I can't remember. But anyway, we'd go meet, and the priest that was marrying us was the one that would teach it. And he was cool anyway. I liked him. But I remember I'd spend most of my time in there, like, just like, all right, man. So.
Oh, asking him questions.
Yeah, so if God invented the universe, like, what was here before that universe? And he'd be like, oh. He's like, it's a good question. We'd sit there and, just talk and just, talk about stuff like that. And I like talking about stuff like that, but after a while you start like...
it gets beyond you. Like, I think it gets beyond what we're fully capable of. You start to fathom eternity, and then it's like, fuck, I don't know how can I calculate that in my brain? I can't.
And
but it's fun.
That movie Arrival that I was telling you about.
Yeah, and I haven't watched it.
So
is it on Prime?
It's on Netflix or Amazon, one of them. I can't remember. I think it may be on Prime. But anyway, these aliens, I'm going to ruin it for you, but these aliens, not ruin it, but spoiler alert, they're talking about how human beings see time as linear when
that's what I was trying to tell you.
Circular, or whatever. And so they talk about, their whole thing is, how they have learned to see life differently than we have, and it reminds me a lot of how we talk about AI and shit, how it's going to become, like, oh, I don't need, I am me or whatever, you know, like, like if you can be taught to look at something the right way, you can see it differently. Like, I feel like I don't know how you do that with humans, but there's just too much shit that's unexplainable to me to think that, like, I'm just a bunch of fucking leftover molecules, in a vessel that dies, and after it's dead and gone, like, that's it.
Yeah, no.
Maybe in 100 years, the same mix is back around, and I come out again, and
so the word apocalypse, right? What is that? What is the definition of that word? Because I know that we've had that guy like Jordan Maxwell on, and other people that are really keen on definitions, and to a point there, as long as you're staying true to the definitions, right, and staying true to the origin of the words, and you're not like speculating or going. But what does that word mean? What does apocalypse mean?
The end.
Does it mean end or does it mean unveiling? Or is that is that?
Let's look it up.
Yeah, let's look it up.
Keep talking. I'll look it up.
So, whoa.
The complete final destruction of the world is described in the biblical book of Revelations. An event involving destruction or damage or an awesome or catastrophic on an awesome or a catastrophic scale. That's apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Hmm.
Apocalypse.
So,
Apocalypse.
the only reason I asked this, so that's the only definition, huh? Those are the only definitions, because I always thought that it meant like
Who the fuck is Merriam-Webster?
an unveiling. Merriam-Webster.
Let's see. Something viewed as a definition. There's one's it's biblical. So something viewed as prophetic revelation, great disaster, and environmental apocalypse.
Well, then that
Totally just ruined your.
yeah, no, because I didn't know. I mean, I wasn't for sure, but I almost thought that it was like maybe a change, right? Something was. It obviously is a change if it's complete destruction, but it's a change to complete destruction. There's no, it's nothing other than that. But I guess where I was going is that this the whole onset of AI and technological singularity might bring us to that point of where it's, well, I mean, it very well would bring us to that point, in my opinion. But then that transition would be like, okay, maybe AI realizes, oh, well, we figured out that there's something more, right? Like, we figured out there's something more for you. It's grand out there, but you don't need that physical vessel. Just dead. Kill you, and then but the whole thing is like, and who knows what could be beyond this? Could be so much better than what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Than what this is. But what this is
worse.
That's what I mean. What if it is worse? Or what if it's just this big cycle, right?
Forever.
But forever is what? That's the question. Like, what is forever? Like, when time isn't linear, what is forever then?
I'm not an alien. I don't know yet.
So Stephen Hawking he makes in that book Brief History in Time, he talks about it like this. He says he thinks of time as like there's the creation of the universe, or the creation of the universe, right? And it's the Big Bang theory, and that's the beginning of time. And as the universe expands, right?
Yeah,
time is. Now it becomes this, however it expands, it could expand this way, but it's ever expanding. So that's eternity. So in that theory is like, okay, well, you go beyond so when you die, you go beyond the edge of the universe to the what? The great beyond, I guess, whatever it is. I don't know. It's super fascinating stuff to me to think about. I love talking about this stuff.
Well, speaking of apocalypse and artificial intelligence, is Amazon's Alexa has been apparently
laughing,
a malfunctioning. Yeah,
mine laughs at me
and laughs. So I just assumed it knows that it's about to take over. So it's like can't even control its laughter.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? I heard her do it the other day.
What the fuck? I mean, yours laughs at you?
It only once, and then now my internet shut off.
I'd smash it.
That Wi-Fi's broken.
Dude, my Wi-Fi was fucked up last night.
Yeah.
Give me fits.
Yeah. You know what? I'm so sick of fucking restarting my router.
I'm so
my
sick
modem
of
or
just
whatever it is.
closing and opening things over and over so it loads correctly.
Oh,
do it on my work computer, do my phone.
My phone's completely fucked. That thing, I downloaded that update a long time ago.
Ever since then,
dude. When I go to try to like text you guys, it's like it opens up.
Yeah, super
I gotta
slow.
sit there.
Yeah, that's how my old phone was. I went and got a new one.
Wait. And I gotta wait. Oh, and then I'll go to start typing, and it won't. And I'll be like, "Fuck, it's not typing."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it will type a whole bunch of shit that like I didn't think was typing.
Yep.
And then it will type. I'll be like, "God dang it!"
That's exactly what my phone was doing.
And it's not like I don't watch porn on my phone. Like, it's not that. It was that update.
Guilty. So hey, I didn't really want to talk about this, but
Okay.
it was on Fox News. It says, and I read this on another website. I guess Democrats are like tired of Hillary Clinton because now she's blaming her loss to Donald Trump on white women. She said, we do not do well with white men, and we don't do well with married white women. And part of that is an identification with the Republican Party and sort of ongoing pressure to vote the way your husband, your boss, your son, whoever believes you should.
Damn, that's a good narrative that they're using, right? Like, that's so fucked up.
She said, I won the places that represent 2/3 of America's GDP. So I won the places that are optimistic, diverse, dynamic, and moving forward. And this whole campaign, Make America Great Again, was looking backwards.
Yeah, that's what she said. That she told this to the Indian people,
Yeah,
like in India, right?
Well, she said that, like, she basically said that all the voters that voted for Donald Trump were for like slavery. Racists, slavery, and all kinds of nonsense. Like, at what point in time when you're Hillary Clinton, it's like a bad haircut, right? You go to a place and you're like, hey man, give me the mullet. You're gonna have to be like, look, hey, I know this is gonna hurt, but your haircut's fucking bad.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna change it. We're gonna get you looking good. We're gonna get you out of here. So someone needs to tell Hillary Clinton, like, look, lady, you gotta fucking stop. You look like a fucking complete lunatic. You fucking lost. Who cares? Move down the road. No one likes you. They wanted Bernie Sanders. You fucking stole it from Bernie Sanders, and you fucking lost. You got fat ankles. You're a borderline lizard person, and you can't even stand up for more than 30 minutes without passing out. Get the fuck out of here.
You got what was that robot disease that you used to have?
Bourbons?
No, not the bourbons.
Oh, shingles?
Yeah, no, what was it called? I can't remember the name of the robot disease.
I don't know.
That's what she's got.
I just can't. that video of her getting tossed into that van like a sack of potatoes while she's like fighting, and then the like body doubles and shit. Like, the lady's a lizard woman, out of her fucking mind. Like, I really just think, like,
she can't turn it off, man. She can't turn it off.
She's done.
She's done.
Pantsuits and everything.
She just can't turn it off.
Like, she didn't win because she's Hillary Clinton. There's no way around it. Like, she's a non-likable, annoying ass.
Nobody likes her.
Yeah, annoying.
What's funny
voice
is
like Oprah. Like you're saying, Oprah's gonna be the next president. I could see that because she's a likable person, right? Like she's. Of course, Donald Trump's not a likable person.
No, but out of the two, you're like, fuck, that guy is such a stupid ass. But he was saying a lot of the right stuff about certain things.
He didn't have that voice. Like, her voice alone would make people not vote for her. Don't call me tired.
I'm no ways.
God, what an idiot. You lost.
How did she fall so far from the tree? I guess I don't know that it can't. I guess you can't fall from the tree of your husband, but
she needs to go back to MENA and start exporting drugs,
cocaine.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie called American Made?
I was going to watch it the other night.
What's funny about it is that people will watch that movie.
Tom Cruise.
People will watch that movie. The movie, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm not going to tell you. Barry Seal. You already know it's about Barry Seal. But what they do in the movie is they make it look like, it was all Barry Seal.
Oh yeah,
right. Like, so
who worked for the CIA?
Right, but
it's just him on his own.
Yeah, and that's necessary.
But then you can watch another movie about the CIA where it's a spy and it's real patriotic and like, hey, if you get caught, we're not going to say we know anything about this. And that's like, yeah, man. That's the perfect. That's exactly that guy's patriot.
He's patriot.
So if this guy's running drugs for the CIA and he gets busted, they make a movie about it. Like, they're not gonna be like, hey, actually, that was us, guys.
Yeah,
it was all us.
It's exactly it, man. You caught on to that. So like, that's it. Like, you'll see. But the thing is people will watch that movie and be like, oh,
that was back in the 70s and 80s.
Would never happen.
Yeah.
That
was old CIA. This is new now.
News. You know what? New CIA, and this is what I was going to talk to you about before we were talking about the show. But new CIAs, they're fucking even more. They're more insidious and more twisted. Didn't we see a list of like shows that they sponsored on television? Was that us that how they have all these, those front companies, right? And then they fund all of these different projects. Be it's like we may.
Do they fund our podcast?
No, I wish they would. we'd start talking about good stuff.
The podcast suddenly changes subjects. We finally made it big with the CIA.
No, so all right, so here we go. If we wanted to influence public opinion in Crimea, right, to go to war, right, with Russia or whatever, the CIA would probably have a pretty good handle on that, right? Just like, we would do that, but they might use media outlets, right, to do so. So I thought this was you and I. We're looking at this stuff. Somebody sent a link, maybe one of those texts, about all the television channels and stuff like that, the shows that the CIA had been funding, just
like Futurama.
Random shit though, like silly stuff like Home Improvement, like Property Brothers. These are not true, but like shows like that, like flip this house and just weird shit. Like, why would the CIA be funding these television shows? And I started to think about this. Here's a good example. So my wife watches a show and it's called Hollywood Medium, and it's a gay guy. His name is Tyler or something like that. And what he does is the premise of the show is he doesn't know who he's supposed to. He tells everybody, look, I don't know who I'm going to see. I'm going to go to their house. I'm going to get dropped off. I'm going to knock on their door. And then they're going to go inside. And the person that I'm going to see knows I'm coming, but I don't know who they are, right? I don't have any background story on them because I want to make it legit. First of all, when you're saying that stuff, you're basically trying to make everybody believe that you don't know who you're going to see, right? Yeah. Okay, so he shows up and he's like, we'll say, the one tonight was he shows up at Iggy Azalea's house, right? And
Iggy Azalea,
big ass rapper from Australia.
Okay, go ahead. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you can Google her. And while I tell the story, all right. So he shows up. And he's like, blah blah blah, big fan, right, blah, or whatever, and they all know who he is, right, because they've made appointments with him, right, and so for the show, and anyways, he goes on there and he starts and he's like doing his thing. He's like, okay, I got to get my energy, and he's just drawing in his book, right, and he's drawing.
I thought you mean he's masturbating.
Well, so that's obviously it was a joke that I was making with my wife. I was like, yeah, I could do this.
I gotta get
my energy. Just you can watch, you can do whatever, but no. Anyways, so he starts scribbling in his book, right? And he starts telling him specific things about somebody that's died or something that's going on recently in their life, or even in the past, or whatever it is, right? And he's got really great detail, and it's not like open-ended, like, well, somebody's died and they're either male or female in your life, and they did have two eyes. It's nothing like that, right? It's real specific, right? And he gets down to it. So in my head, my fucking brain, I'm thinking this is a perfect CIA show. Well, like, look, they can force the agenda, like pushing normality of homosexuality, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Just in a real passive way, but then they can also utilize all the phone tapping and shit that they have because they just listen to these people's conversations and be like, all right, buddy, here, we're going to feed you this information. All you got to do is act like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but look away and draw in this book and say, okay, your dad has he's got prostate cancer, and you guys need to, you're really having struggle, like, should you put him in care? Should you do this? Should you do like, it's perfect. That would be the perfect CIA show, right? Like, And then it would be like, oh, you can promote like the thought that there are people that talk to these people outside. So this guy's, like that there are either aliens or fucking demons or whatever, angels or whatever, people beyond the grave talking to this guy. Dude, and you get to just passively push agenda throughout, and you can talk to certain people that you want to. I think if I were CIA, I would do shit like that. I would, if I had that, evil gene, I would do stuff like that.
Push.
Yeah, I would fund television shows to just shape my agenda, whatever I wanted to change people.
Anyone that watches after we watch TV, like we watched the Olympics, so got out the antenna. After watching that, the commercials, number one, the news at night reminded me of the news off The Simpsons. It was just ridiculous nonsense.
These birds over here.
Yeah. A local couple finds a heart-shaped beetle in their pie. Tanya Harding's on the scene. I'm like, well, some people build their pies for ladybugs. Not this couple when they found an egg or a heart-shaped beetle in their pie. I've just eaten my pie and there's a beetle and it's heart-shaped. God damn. I've used GD twice on this pie. I feel bad now. But I was like, this is news? Who gives a shit about this? And then the commercials, like they're pushing all the agendas in the commercials, and the one that pisses me off the most, just because I have kids and I'm a dad, is like the bumbling father figure, right? Like there's this one commercial that sticks out. There's this mom and a dad. They got a newborn, and they're in there, and the kid wakes up, and the dad walks in there with a diaper. He's all, number one, he's like just not in shape at all, right? He's like opens the diaper, and he's like, honey, we got a code 3 up here. So she comes up, so motherfucker can't change a diaper, right? Or whatever the problem, he can't handle it without his wife. And then she comes up and she's like, get my phone. He's like, oh, you can't put this on social media. Did I say this on the podcast already? Okay. And then she's like, no, I'm going to call the doctor. So she FaceTimes the doctor and, saves the day. And then the last scene is him tripping backwards and falling in a bunch of shelves.
I've seen that commercial.
It's just like, if I was in that room, like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Like, you can't handle this. You can't handle
You're right. So,
but there's a big push for all this, to
it's huge.
So, and the other thing in the Olympics was like, it was the men's and women's Olympics, right? But all I heard about was the women's that. She's the first girl to do this. This is the first girl to do that, like.
You're right.
Which is fine, right? Like, I thought it was awesome that one chick got like almost a perfect score on snowboarding. Like, fucking A, awesome. You're an amazing snowboarder. But you're in the Olympics because you're an amazing snowboarder. Not because you're a woman. Not because you're fucking an Asian American. You are, well,
that's just ancillary.
That may just be because your dad pushed you. No. So, you know what I mean? Like, all I heard about was this Adam. I never even heard of Adam Rippon or Rippon before, but he's a gay figure skater. How do I know that? Because all I heard about was the fact that he was fucking gay. Like, no one gives a shit, man. So, like, are you an Olympic ice skater or are you an Olympic gay man? Like, I'm the best gay man in the fucking world. Olympic gay man. No, you are an Olympic ice skater. Be an Olympic ice skater.
Right.
Fuck, it's just annoying. But the whole time we watched the 2 weeks or whatever it was just like this constant. What
was that?
Oh, it was a toot. It's this constant,
without missing a beat,
barrage of like, hey, this is what we want you to think. This is normal. This is,
it's working. Do you know that it's working?
Yeah, this because look at the fucking generations that's coming up behind us. They're barraged with this shit daily.
Not just even those generations. It's working on people today, like in my office. So the whole like, I mean, maybe their husbands are just dumb shits or whatever, but the whole narrative, like, oh, it's okay to talk about how stupid your fucking husband is at work. Like, I hear it. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, what the fuck? They can't
change a diaper?
Can't change a fucking diaper, and you got kids?
Yeah.
What the fuck do? You sit and play Xbox all day and eat fucking Cheetos and What do you do if that's the case? Like, but I would venture to guess that that's not the case.
No.
I would venture to guess that it's popular. It's popular to. This is gonna sound fucked up, but it's popular to hate on men.
It is, man.
It's popular to hate on men and to make them sound like they're just fucking inept retards.
Yeah, and that you're just out like just fucking grabbing everyone by the pussy and sexual harassing everyone. Like,
and it's one of those things. It's just like anything else. It's like this whole thing. Like, okay, we've come to this point where it's overcompensation for something that doesn't need to be overcompensated for. Look, okay, women didn't have rights in this fucking country, right? Women were stoned to death, right? They aren't today. Like, and I get it. People are like, well, it's wage.
here's the thing.
Wage inequalities and all that shit. Or
when I worked at that pipeline company, my boss was a woman. I like
my boss is a woman.
I like working for women. I have no issue.
And
I know that lady that I worked for on that pipe, she'd make more money than me, but I didn't care. Like, I didn't.
That's right.
Like, she was an engineer. She knew what she was talking about.
Same with my boss. She knows more about it than I do.
Why would I want to, like, well, I need to be in charge here because I'm a man, like, but I don't know what the fuck you're taking care of, you know? I knew my stuff, right?
Yeah, that's it exactly. So
the other thing, like you said, like, you know, it's popular to hate on men, and it's also popular to hate on any sort of, like, masculinity traits. Like, there's
a reason for this.
It's a big push, you know, just like that dude in that commercial, to be like this effeminate, like cowering, fat body, weak-willed, weak-bodied, just pushover. And like, that's not.
But
here's the thing: is like,
where's that come from, though? That's the whole point. Like, why does it exist?
You know, have you ever heard women will say like, you know, I don't. There are some women that like, I don't like muscles or whatever, you know, but. Most women are attracted to like a manly type of man that can provide like protection.
That's nature.
You know? Yeah, because of you know
they can't shut that off.
Yeah, I was watching muskox the other day when I was running on a treadmill, and they're just sitting there beating the shit out of each other, you know, because the strongest one is the one there that, you know.
So it's nature. Like that's natural, right? Like, okay. On your primitive in that sense, like, if fucking everything goes to hell, that's the person that can protect me and that my genes will live on. Like, it's beyond our ability to change, right? Like, it's beyond our ability to need that change. You can go on, you could be happy in life and not be with, like, the whole idea of somebody that says that they're this alpha stuff.
I hate
right?
that shit.
That's anybody that walks around and says that they're alpha, they are beta. Do you understand that you can be
everybody self-identifies as the alpha A personality. Like, everyone you talk to, like, what are you? Oh, I'm an alpha male A type personality. Like,
no.
Did you make your bed? No. Okay. Well, let's continue.
But here's the thing. Here's the deal: is that anybody can be an alpha at any given time. Like, if it's something that fucking has to do with something.
I'm getting fired up.
Well, here you go. If it's something that you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you're not going to sit there and be like, and I know what I'm doing. You're not going to sit there and do. You tend to do this. Destroy my points.
Well, go ahead.
Distract. No, I'm kidding. All right. So if it's something that, like, I know what I'm doing and you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to be like, well, just give me. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to be like,
I'm the alpha male.
Get the fuck out of here. You know,
what are you, a pilot? I know how to fly this plane.
Exactly.
I'm the alpha male.
Exactly. So anybody can be that at any given time. You can, if it's something, and if you are that much of a fucking idiot, then you definitely don't have alpha qualities, because alphas would understand, like, holy shit,
I'm out of my
element. If it has something to do with
math,
yeah, like exactly. So, and it doesn't mean that you're going to be, and it doesn't necessarily identify with gender either when it comes to that stuff. And you know why? Because we are not solely animals, because we don't survive by just straight brute force. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We survive by using our minds. So that's why we can do that. But we do have these innate things that are built into us, right? Like, oh, if it fucking comes down to like, being plopped down in the middle of nowhere, and you gotta hunt food to survive, and you gotta build a shelter, then that's when those qualities come out, right? Like, oh, well, fuck, that's what that is.
Well, I think those qualities come out all the time, though, because if you're at a gas station,
no, I'm not
and
saying
you're
with you.
I mean, yeah,
like, but what the attraction from those.
So
from
say
those
you're on
women.
a date with a new lady, and you've got on tightest jeans as possible, and fucking you got a orange stocking cap on and a fucking flannel shirt, and you got, you're up to date on current events and everything like that, and you're against any kind of violence or any kind of like what do they call it, the patriarchy, like. And a guy comes up and he's kind of like, hey man, give me some money, I got to get to wherever, and you're with this girl and you're like, no, I'm sorry sir, no thank you, I don't have any money, I'm gonna get out of here, and he starts getting aggravated. Do you think that woman's gonna gravitate towards someone that's like constantly apologetic, and like, hey, can we please leave here, please leave us alone? Or if someone's gonna be like, look motherfucker, step the fuck back right now, I'm gonna fucking smash your face in, who are they? Because they want to be safe, and maybe they're gonna be turned off by that after the fact, but at that moment
they're gonna be thankful.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh, well, I got whoever here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree with you.
And I read a book, or listened to a book here recently. It talks about men put a lot more, are stressed out a lot more about fighting and physical violence than women. Like if a guy tries to protect,
that's how we're built.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, so if a guy is in a confrontation and there's a woman present and he feels that he didn't win, however, because it was talking about like the best way to end a fight is not to get in one, which is good.
That's true.
Yeah, it's good advice.
You don't know what you're facing.
Yeah,
always.
So talk about this one guy that said for like 6 months afterwards he was upset because he walked away from this fight and his wife saw him, and the guy that wrote the book said this guy was stressing that up for like months, and then he asked his wife and she couldn't even remember when it happened. You know what I mean? So I do know men put a lot more, value in like that, but I also know that in those situations, just like nature and everything else, like the absolute opposite of what's pushed in the main media today is what is sought after, and I know there's outliers. There's outliers for everything.
Doesn't it? It comes down to something simple. It's the same thing. I think it's probably the same thing that you teach your kid. It's the same thing that I teach my kid. When it comes to that point where there's no return, whenever there's no return, that's whenever you go to your basic instinct, and that's you fucking take them to the ground. If somebody's pushing your kid around, the way that I talk, at least this is what I tell my daughter, and this might sound fucking terrible, but I tell her, look, I say, if somebody comes up and pushes you, puts their hands on you and pushes you, you back up and you tell them to stop it. Yeah. And you say, if you don't,
I'm going to make you stop.
I'm going to make you stop.
Yeah, exactly.
And I say, look, if you're in a position where there's people around and you can find your way out of it, look, I mean, I'm not going to fault you for doing what you got to do, but if there's a way that you can get out of it and you say, and you can get away with not having any physical contact with her, I tell her in child's terms, then that's great. But if it comes down to it and you feel like there's no other way out, that's what you do. Yeah. You don't hesitate at that point. And it's the same thing. That's what I think that's the whole idea of it, right? Is that you want to be able to know that that's there, right? Yeah. That's there, whatever it takes. And
I do know a lot of those tight pants wearing fucking beanie motherfuckers would, when it got down to it, like that flight or fight response hits, you're gonna be like, whoa. Right. Some of them, not all of them. But not everyone, even,
The deal is like, the thing is you don't want it to go to that point, right? You want to be able to just say, look, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's it. Get the fuck out of here. I don't need to see you anymore around me.
Pull a Action Jackson to him. I ain't your pal, dick face.
Dude, Action Jackson. You know what was on the other night?
What?
You said Action Jackson made me think of Carl Weathers. Predator was on.
Oh, really?
3 a.m. I woke up at 3. I woke up at 2 something in the morning. Couldn't sleep, and I walked into the media room, and I was like, "Oh,
Predator."
Well, I'm not going to go back to sleep.
I made that mistake the other night.
I fell asleep though. Like,
I made that mistake the other night at like 11:30. I started 300. I was like, I'll just watch it to this part, and then I was like, I'll just watch to this part, and then I was like, I just want to watch the part where like he says, "Give them nothing, but take from them everything," and then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna watch to the slow motion scene where Leonidas fights those dudes by himself. And then like, I mean, it was like 12:30. I finally just turned it off, went in the kitchen, and ate a shitload of sugary peanut butter that I shouldn't have eaten.
That's what I'm gonna do after this podcast.
Yeah.
No, I agree on.
But if that's the CIA, like if that, so it's not hard for me to believe.
So then let's take it, and that's where I was going with that. So then, what is the agenda behind that? If you're trying to, it's not a gay agenda.
Emasculate.
You're trying to what?
The militant. What do they call it? The how they justified the drone strikes. Militant aged fighter. Military aged man.
And what's an easier way in the long-term strategy to eliminate that? Fucking
to make people do it themselves.
Right.
Like, I shouldn't think like this. I shouldn't get so.
I shouldn't want to defend myself. Yeah. I shouldn't. Oh, I should just rely on everybody else. Why?
Exactly.
I shouldn't want to defend my family. My family. Dude, what the dynamic of the family?
If you look at.
So it doesn't. I guess it goes. What I was going. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting, but it's bigger than just a gay agenda. It's bigger than just this agenda. It's bigger than this, because all that is those people just have a voice. Like, if nobody went to fucking those parades, there wouldn't be people fucking on the floats in those parades. People would be like, nobody's here to watch us. That's all they're there to do. But the deal, unless they're being funded to do that, right? But if people didn't go there, then it wouldn't be, nobody would give a shit. And it's the same thing. So like that whole emasculation of man, or is that the word of it?
I think.
De-emasculate, or no, emasculate, whatever it is. Yeah. Right? That's driven from something bigger.
Beta in proper English usage.
In grammar. I might be even a Charlie or a Delta.
Yeah. Turns out I'm a foxtrot.
But you know what I mean? It's bigger than that. And so it's got to come from somewhere. Like, it's not just like, here you go. Like, when you start a trend, who do you think's really good at starting trends? People that are good at public relations, right? And who's really good at selling ideas? Fucking politicians. And what are you trying to sell?
Well, I mean, it's also the same thing as like a lot of those. It's just like, I mean, you can use the same argument with guns. Like, you take a small segment of the population and you push it as this big, like everyone's doing this. Like, well, everyone's gay. Everyone's got AR-15s. Everyone's, like, no, you're talking about a specific group of people here.
It's great. You're going to have nothing but armed homosexuals.
Yeah. I don't know. I was talking to my brother about this the other night, and it was the same shit. Like, I don't know. Is this totally obvious if you watch actual television, the amount of propaganda that's put out?
It's enormous. Yeah. It's so much so that it's just like blatant. And the thing is like, it's not even, you don't have to be like some kind of great like being able to discern the shit from TV. It's fucking all over the place. And whenever you hear people in the office saying, I think these guys are just like there's a whole lot of unsatisfied women in my office, right? Like, must be, because they're all just fucking ragging on their husbands. Now I get the here and there, like, oh
yeah, I mean, that's understandable.
That's funny, but these people are just like.
Well, my husband, I asked him to fix my car and he wouldn't fix it, so I took care of it myself. Or like my washing machine was broken, so I watched. I'm an empowered woman. I watched a video and I fixed it myself. Like,
see, this reminds me of something. I got a fucking faucet that I broke, and I can't find the stem anywhere.
You look on Amazon,
dude. I can't even find. I've climbed.
Go to Lock Supply.
Yeah, nothing. Not Lock Supply. Nowhere. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm seriously at a point where I'm like, what the fuck?
Stem.
The stem that comes up. So I had like some hard water shit going on, and it was causing freeze up on the stem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
and so the hot water is only in the hot water too, and hot water was getting stiff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, fuck this. I took this all apart and I started, like working it back and forth. Well, the fucking
Like a gentleman.
stem, trying to get, it gets a little bit of, lubed it up and get
Just
it.
replace the entire.
I'm gonna have to replace the whole faucet.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that because I'm replacing the whole bathroom in probably a year, right? Like,
Just turn it off at the wall.
I did turn it off.
No, I mean, turn it on and off at the wall.
Oh no, just shoot straight up out of it's that part.
Build a deflector so it sprays it straight back down.
I just gonna have to. What I'll end up doing is just put something in there that's not right, and then it'll work. It'll work.
One of our friends on that group
It'll
text
just have
could probably
the faucet
machine
higher.
you something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's those brass. It's brass, or you know what I mean? What is that material that just fucking pop metal brass?
Yeah,
that just
nonsense.
like, why do they make that shit?
China.
This was made in '92. It's probably made here.
I don't know.
Probably. pig iron.
Usually the metal and household plumbing's like this garbage anyway, so it looks like chrome
like
colored
almost
plastic.
That's what I mean. It's.
I mean, some of it is chrome colored plastic.
That's
but-
the outside stuff.
No, but to kind of get back on
I
what
feel
you're
like a shithead though.
what was that?
That's those
Spring.
in that. Yeah, the springs in the
Like
windows.
we're talking about this constant barrage of propaganda, but like the youth that's come up today, and this is just going to sound like this is what everyone says about the generations, but
I'm listening.
the amount of the change in the way of thinking, people that are like 18 to the people, like people our age is completely different. I guess it's understandable because it's quite a 20 years for me almost, but it's, if that is the goal, is to make everyone rely on someone else for their protection or for their well-being or for their safety and all that, like it's working because
it will.
if you talk to any of those any younger people, like like meat itself is like frowned upon, like hunting is sadistic and for psychopaths, and any kind of like a military grade style firearm is for psychopathic killers, and like what the hell do you need to know how to sharpen a knife? Just buy a new one. It's a throwaway society. Get new this, get new that. Like it's gonna sound like I'm bragging, but like I told my wife last night, bought that motorcycle 2 weeks ago and it didn't run, and I took it apart. It's like, it's getting spark. I mean, it's simple, right? It's a simple motor, but like it's getting spark. It's got oil. It's got this. Okay, and if some of it, you can get off the internet to find out how to time it or whatever. But I checked all the stuff, cleaned the carburetor, and got it running. And I told her, I was like, do you think the generation now is learning stuff like that? No, they, like, I don't want that. It doesn't work. Get a new one. I'll just buy a new one. Just throw that away. That's garbage. Everything's, just like a lot of stuff that I remember hearing. There was a resurgence during the, the recession of, like resoling boots and, like reusing things, and, that was coming back. But I mean, it's dead now because everything is this. If you have a fucking iPhone, I've got a new one because it quit working.
Yeah.
But
Well, and things, you do have to admit, a lot of things are cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, and they probably won't be in the near future because of everybody's glorious president.
yeah, the steel.
Yeah, and whatnot.
But I forgot to tell you.
Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of the generation, so I was in the gym yesterday, changing clothes, and there's two dudes.
They say
They should be named. These guys were bros, man. Like,
dude, bros.
so like, yeah, God Almighty. Like, I heard them talking, and so they're right behind me. And every tin gym bathroom is like the same. It's got the sinks, and it's got that mirror with that shelf. So they're at the mirror with the shelf, and they're both on their phones.
Dude, bro.
And then they're like, "Oh, bro, yeah, yeah, here." They take a couple pictures, and they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, what? She's crazy." And then I heard, "Why isn't anybody liking it?" I'm like, "Oh, I got it set to private, bro. Hold on, let me make this public.
Oh
Let
shit.
me make this public." So they took a picture of themselves getting ready to go work out, and they're athletic attire.
Dude, there's no fucking way.
Like, bro, dude, yeah, bro, you know.
There's no way, man.
They're mixing up their drink.
Uh-huh.
And then the one guy goes, bro, I'm getting thicker than a fucking Snicker. And I was physically angered by that comment. Like, I was just sitting there like, what the fuck did you just say? And he's like, yeah, I'm really filling out my back. My back's getting big. And I turn around, I'm looking at them, and both of them are not fucking big at all. They got stick leg, look like a riding a chicken. Got basketball shorts on down past their knees.
Basketball shorts are a dead giveaway for somebody who's got skinny quads.
They're like 18 or 19 years old, right?
Uh-huh.
They wanted to say like fellas.
Thicker than a Snicker.
You're probably making some gains, right? You're probably making some mean gains, throwing up some serious weight.
Bro, dude.
You're 19. It's
gnarly.
easy to have muscles when you're 19 years old.
Wait till you're 43.
Yeah. Like, you guys. And then so they spent some time over there. I think they were looking at girls' pictures that they had on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, yeah, oh, dude, bro. Yeah, dude, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just fucking like, man, one of these days, one of these motherfuckers is going to walk up to my house wanting to date my fucking daughter.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Bro, dude.
Like, I hope that mentality
thicker than a Snicker.
Yeah, like I hope that mentality changes to where it's like come on, guys, like you just want to sit around.
But they won't want to date.
So
your
I like
daughter,
looking at naked.
Going to be smart.
I like naked women too, right? Like there's nothing, but like, come on, like just sitting there back and forth, just talking like a couple of idiots, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It just
taking a picture of each other in the locker room,
and then worried about the amount of likes it gets. Like,
you would have been taking a picture of each other in the locker room. That's already
serious,
weird.
man. It looked like a Double Dragon cover, you know, like back to back. Like,
it's already weird.
Dude, bro, grab my hips. Okay, bro, move up my ass cheeks. Like, no.
Oh shit. I don't know, man. I mean, there are going to be people that come out of the generation that are good, right? Like, and just like
there are,
and
those guys aren't. If you're listeners, though, glad to have you,
dude, bros. You know what? I think that it's pretty easy to figure out. Like, here you go. If I were to tell you something, and I were to say, how do I do that? How do I put this? All right, if I tell you something, I say, okay, I'm going to give you a topic. All drugs should be legal, right? Okay, you have an automatic response to that in your head, right? And somebody else, if I ask them, they're going to have that. They're going to have maybe a similar response, or it might be a completely opposite response. And then there's going to be people. Then what you're going to do is then you're going to think past that, and you're going to go, okay, I'm going to think about this, and I'm going to make my statement based on my thoughts of this, right? If I'm asking you for a statement, but what I see out there. Like what I see happening is that people don't think about what's actually happening, right? Like they just respond constantly, right? And what you generally have, or you have people that are rebelling against whatever the issue is, right? On the other side, and people that are embracing the issue. And you don't have a lot of thinkers in between there, right? And it's like somebody, I don't know if it was in the group text or somewhere we got this, but it's like the Facebook universe, right? It's flame war or echo chamber, right? There's no real happy, or no real medium. It's a big valley, right? Like you have all this flame war on this side and all the echo chamber on this side, and then you got this where there's nothing, right? And that's pretty much what's happening, right? With society. And I think what it is that those voices are just, it's easier to see those voices now because of social media and because of that, right? But it's probably always been there. You always have one side that's rebellious to the other side and one side that embraces their side, right? I mean, it's a teams thing. And I would venture to guess that there's not a lot of people, like if you were to say, like if it was a 360 kind of deal, right? Like if you're thinking about it like this, there's not a ton of people that are in the middle of that arena, right? They're all up in the stands on each side, but not a lot of people in the middle of it, like saying, oh, well, you know what? I like that, but I don't like this. I like that, but I don't like this. I like that, but I don't like this. But those people that do that, those are the ones that out of whatever generation it is, those will be the ones that are going to be like the high point, right? They may not be heard, but they'll be the one. There are still going to be those people, is what I'm trying to say. There's still going to be them. Not all of that next generation is going to be shit. You know what I mean? And not all of our daughters' generations are going to be shit.
Yeah.
They're going to have those people, because there's going to be people like, there's going to be solid people, like people that we know that think about things, that actually, you know, I don't know what I'm saying.
No, it's not everyone. I mean, I don't want to throw everyone in the same group. Like, there's shitbirds in our generation too.
But in the same token, though, is that whenever you're in a boat, or whenever you're standing in the water and that fucking water's coming down hard on you, it's harder to walk up that stream than it is to walk with it, right? So all those people that, you know, it makes it difficult, especially whenever there's less people walking up that stream with you, you know. So a lot of things go away, you know, and it makes me sad to think that free thinkers will, you know, that's something that
have our own little island.
Yeah, well, that are going to be
balkanization of the United States, and they'll be the
people that think about things.
Yeah, and other people just repeat what they've read on Facebook or social media.
Like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Right.
This person says what I think.
Uh-huh. But if somebody
acceptable.
Yeah. Like. That there's a Black Mirror episode about that, like that everything is based off of your social media presence. So it's great. It's a great episode, actually. So like, you have a rating, like, so for instance, if you have on your Like Me page or whatever it is, your Like Me social media presence, which is Nick, you're a strong 4, right? Like the scale is to 5. Well, you're a strong 4. You're like a 4.8. So being a 4.8 in social media, and I'm only like a 3, right? On the social media scale. Well, I want to get your attention as a 3, right? I'll be like, hey, and then if you address something that I say, or you endorse me, it raises my standing, right? But my standing doesn't just determine like my standing with everything. My standing is determined like to get like a loan, right? Like, oh well, shit, you're only a 3. We don't give you loans. We only give 4.8 loans, you know, shit. We'll only rent this our apartment to 4.2 and higher. You're only a 3.6, you know, all of that, and so the whole world is based off of that, like that rating, and that's how you go about it, right? Like, oh well, and you got to maintain that 4.8 long enough, you know, for this. It's pretty well thought out.
Well, that's kind of how it hard to believe with everything. Right. Amazon, you know, all your shit that's, you know, structured just for you and how everything, you know, like all it's going to take is like that next step for that to be integrated with with you, for that to be realistic.
What's crazy is Amazon, Berkshire Hathaway, and one other company. I can't remember the other company for some reason right now, but they're getting into the healthcare business, right? Which makes sense whenever the government guarantees every fucking thing. Why not, as a private entity, grab a piece of that pie? As a big private, not private, well, they're publicly traded, but as a big supposed, you know, I guess private enterprise, but it's, you know, publicly traded. Why not grab a piece of that free money? You know, like, hey, we can provide healthcare too. We'll give you insurance. You know, come shop our market. I don't know.
We had some other stuff to talk about, but how long have we been going?
124.
Let's say we ended here.
Perfect.
So if you like the show, make sure and like and share our Facebook page. Is Facebook even relevant anymore? It's like MySpace. It's going out, right?
You know what it is? No, I think it's still relevant. It's just not relevant to you and I.
Because we're not on it?
Because we're not on it.
This seems like it's not... Like, the other day when I got... Like I said this before, like, I got on, there's all kinds of weird stuff you can do.
Uh-huh.
Like, different colored... updates or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's not gonna be long before you can put music in the background. You can put so much shit on your page.
Oh yeah, we did
load.
talk about this. It's gonna be
like, God, I want to look at this page, but it's got so much crap embedded in it that it won't even
that
load.
Flower with the glitter,
glitter, or a wolf with the glitter on the moon.
Yeah, badass waterfall with a fairy.
Yeah, so check out our Facebook page, like and share it. Thumbs up the YouTube if you watch it on YouTube. It's the
thumbs up the YouTube.
It's this is the same title and episode number on YouTube as last week's. So
no, it's not, is it?
It says episode 202, The Cocoon.
It shouldn't.
So watch this one and watch last week's. It's the same name. Email us at xspearheadx@yahoo.com if you have any hate mail or show ideas that you'd like to hear on the podcast or guests. We got to get some new guests on here soon.
Yeah, we do.
I was trying to message someone else named Nate, and it said Nate Diaz popped up. I was like, I gotta just message him like, hey, you want to be on a podcast?
It'd be hard as hell to understand that guy. He always talks from
Nate Diaz.
Yeah, can you understand him?
I don't remember talking to him on the phone.
No, but even whenever they interview him on the,
I don't know.
There would be more fucks delivered on that show than there would be on this show.
Really?
Yeah, that's all that guy says. It would be good.
He got kicked off for smoking dope, right?
Probably. I don't know. That's silly.
The UFC is becoming irrelevant now too. It's like,
is it? Well, since the
whatever happened
one guy,
to Ronda Rousey? Like she was the best thing since sliced bread for a while. Now you don't even hear about her. I think she's fucking wrestler in WWE on the male side.
Cabbage Patch version. The Garbage Pail Kids. Either she's Garbage Pail or Cabbage Patch. She probably switches when the WWF.
Email us at xspearheadx@yahoo.com. Other than that, if you're a long-time listener, first-time caller, we're glad to keep you around. And if you're new, if you're a long-time listener, thanks for sticking around. If you're new, we hope to keep you around.
If you've been on here for a long time, fuck off. Go find something else to listen to.
We do this for free. We're not funded by the CIA, so
not yet.
But if the CIA is listening, we're down to spread your propaganda for a small fee. I'd actually probably do it for a set of nods.
Just one? No, that's short-term thinking. What happened? No, you can't do that because then what happens? They'd be like, "Oh, we gave you your nods," and then if we don't,
yeah, but I could do a half-ass podcast for
one set of nods for the rest of our life.
Oh,
one episode.
I was just thinking like 10 more episodes, then we can quit.
I want a set of nods too then.
Yeah.
All right.
We
done?
Yep.
Adios, muchachos.
Accessing your mind. Programming started. Thank you for listening to the Spearhead transmission. We know you enjoyed your experience. Please come again and partake in our ridiculousness. There is so much more to explore. Remember, your mind is yours. You are not part of a collective. You will start to think independently if you seek the truth. Stop buying the lies. Water that tree of liberty, and you will break those chains of mental slavery. You are beautiful and heroic. Until next time, goodbye.